So we conducted a Vrio analysis of House of, and we analyzed four key resourcing capabilities that House of offers and its impact on their competitive advantage. So the first one was its exclusive access to Belmont student and alumni designers that it offers. We said first off, yes, this is very valuable, not only to producers, but also to customers, as it provides a bit more of like context and story for a piece of clothing, especially when the clothing a lot of times is art. So to be able to have this like backstory and know where it came from and have it be from like local college students and alumni provides a lot of value to a customer. For rarity, we said yes, this is very rare. Especially in the national market, nobody does this. Nobody really offers a platform for only Belmont students, especially only run by Belmont students as well. So yes, this is a very rare good that they offer. For inimitable, we said yes, this is a very hard thing for another company to be able to replicate. It's also very costly for them to replicate because it kind of like puts a company in a box. Like you can only sell this, you can only have your company run by these people, right? So like it really limits who a company can hire and who like company can sell, and what goods they can sell. So it's very costly for another company to be able to like to try to replicate this. And for organization, we said yes, like House of has a great organization and structure to be able to do this, as their entire brand identity and clothing store in general is only based around this. So they're structured enough and have like a good enough um, production and sales line to be able to do this. And we said that all of this in general, like having this exclusive access to Belmont student and alumni designers, does offer a sustained competitive advantage for them because no one else can really replicate it. It's very rare, it's very valuable, and they have the structure to be able to do it. So it offers this long-term competitive advantage for House of that they're able to sustain. The second one, the second like capability and resource that we analyzed was the high quality handmade products that House of offers. We said first that yes, is very valuable to customers, as a lot nowadays, a lot of clothing is mass produced and it's not very good. It's very cheap, very thin, just not produced very well. It falls apart very easily. So for House of to be able to offer high quality, small batch, handmade products, does offer value to customers, as they know that when they buy a piece of clothing from House of, it's going to be very quality. It will not wear too quickly, and they know where it came from, and they know that there's not a million of them out there. They kind of own something that not a lot of people have. For rarity, we said no. Offering high quality handmade small batch products is not a very rare thing, not only in national, but in like the broader national, international market as well, as a lot of clothing companies do offer only like small batch handmade products. So no, this is not a very rare resource that they have. For inimitable, we said no. This is it's pretty easy for another company to be able to replicate and not too costly, as a lot of companies do already do this. And a lot of companies, like especially bigger firms, can also do this, either like offering a smaller line of only like very high quality small batch things, or just like it's very easy for a company to change their business model to only high quality like handmade products, because also a lot of the cost ends up falling on a consumer anyways, so the margins really aren't affected in the end of the day, and the company can still make a similar amount of money, especially when priced right and produced right. And for organization, we said yes. House Hub does have the structure and organization to be able to offer this kind of resource and good, because I mean they already do it, but their entire brand and market is around only offering high quality products, and their store is positioned in a way that people know that that's all they sell, and they have the designers to be able to do it. And because a lot of Belmont students, they like, especially current students as well as alumni, don't really have a platform to be able to start selling their clothes. So for like House of already has a system for them, like in place for them to be able to sell their clothing, and House of has enough goods from all of that to be able to sell to a large amount of consumers. So we said yes, they do have the organization for it. And the impact on competitive advantage, we said it gives them competitive parity, because there are a lot of companies that do offer high quality handmade products. And while it's valuable and while they have the structure for it, it kind of just lines them up with those other companies. It doesn't give them a leg up, it doesn't give them a leg down. It just kind of lines them up with other similar companies like that. Yeah, so for the third one, the third resource that we analyzed. It's more of a capability. It's their small scale, high cost structure that they have. First off, we said no, it's not very valuable to customers as customers have to eat a lot of this high cost. And for small scale too, like for a customer who would want something and they aren't able to get it because there's only so many of them, it kind of takes away from like a consumer's experience, especially when like if you would see something online, you're like, I really want that, and then you go to the store and they don't have it, kind of takes away from customers' buying experience. We said no, it's not very valuable for a customer, especially the cost part of it. The for rarity, we said no, it's not very rare. There are a lot of clothing companies specifically that do this very similar thing where they only offer like small amount at a very high cost. It's kind of offers that limited edition feel to clothing. So no, it's not very rare. For inimitable, we said yet again, no, this is pretty easily replicable as a lot of companies already do it, hence it not being very rare. So we said, and it's not very costly for companies to be able to do this because you have a higher cost. So your margins end up being very similar to if you mass produce something. And for organization, we said yes again, that they do have the organization and structure to be able to offer this as they have already been successful and set up a way to be able to like and have created a demand around the fact that they have this small scale, and it leads customers to want to pay the higher cost because they know there's only so much of it and they need to get their hands on it while they have the opportunity. And for the impact on competitive advantage, we said that it ends up giving them a competitive disadvantage because it's not very rare, it's pretty easily replicable, and it doesn't really provide a lot of value to a customer. So it kind of takes away, especially like and when you have like an economic downturn, when a customer doesn't want to spend as much, it really puts them in a tough spot. So it gives them a competitive disadvantage for them to be doing this small scale, high cost structure. And the fourth resource capability that we analyzed was their seasonally rotating inventory. We said for valuable, we said yes, it's very valuable to a customer as when seasons change, you need different type of clothing. So for them to be able to offer different styles of clothing to fit the needs of a season is pretty valuable to a customer. For rarity, we said yes, this is a bit rare. As a lot of companies, like you'll see, they don't change their like lineups. There are a lot of companies that do this, but especially like clothing companies, you'll see like especially the mass produced ones, they just keep selling the same thing. So for House of to fully switch their inventory based off a season is a pretty rare thing for a clothing company. For inimitable, we said no, this is pretty easily replicable if a company wanted to do it, and it's not too costly for a company to be able to do it. So we said it's no for inimitable. And for organization, we said yes. House of does have the structure and organization to be able to offer this, as they have designers who are making new clothing per season. So they have the supply for it, and they have the demand from Nashville, especially with the seasons. We have very real seasons in Nashville. You get a real summer and a real winter that you won't find in a lot of other cities. So they do have the demand and they have the supply, so they have the organization to be able to sell these products, especially when customers need it. And for the impact on competitive advantage, we said it gives them a temporary competitive advantage, as when they offer these products, it kind of gives them a step up, especially during that season or like going into the season. However, when other companies, like if they do decide to start to replicate it, or when the seasons change, they no longer get that competitive advantage, especially when other companies are already offering a similar good. They just haven't changed it per season, but then it falls in line with a different season. So once you get to that season, they lose their competitive advantage.